The interim leader of Le Parti Québécois, Sylvain Gaudreault, is calling on the party's leadership hopefuls to continue their contest with dignity, respect, and calm. All hell broke loose over the weekend after Jean-François Lisée declared that the controversial Montreal imam Adil Shakawi had endorsed the frontrunner Alexandre Cloutier for his softer stand on wearing religious symbols. That allegation about Alexandre Cloutier and Adil Shakawi was based on this Facebook post that Adil Shakawi had written on Wednesday.
Alexandre Cloutier pleads for openness and renewal, while Jean-François Lisée sinks into the identity debate and the legacy of the Islamophobic charter of Bernard Drinville.
While contacted by the media, Adil Shakawi angrily denied that post amounted to an endorsement. Even more angry was Alexandre Cloutier. He says a wave of violent insults followed on social media, provoked by Jean-François Lisée's endorsement remark, and it made him fearful enough to contact the SQ. Jean-François Lisée has refused to apologize, but he did take down a post where he made that endorsement comment. So, identity politics now front and center in the PQ leadership race. Here are the two frontrunners' positions. Alexandre Cloutier wants a more measured approach, he says, something more in tune with the Bouchard-Taylor Commission's recommendations.
Il faut trouver une proposition qui fait consensus, une position qui rassemble le plus les Québécois, que ce soit les gens de Québec solidaire, la coalition Avenir Québec et même des électeurs du Parti libéral qui s'attendent à ce que nous posions des gestes pour avancer sur les enjeux d'accommodement raisonnable. Et on doit le faire avec de la mesure.
So saying there that we need to have a proposal that's more in line with a consensus position that represents most Quebecers, including Quebec Solidaire, the CAQ, and even the Liberals, he says. He says we need to go forward with reasonable accommodation, with measure. And what that actually means is probably something like what the Bouchard-Taylor Commission recommended, which is no outward religious symbols for judges, crown prosecutors, police officers, and prison guards. Well, Jean-François Lisée, he is suggesting that Alexandre Cloutier is being far too soft.
Il va faire Bouchard-Taylor, c'est-à-dire les juges, les gardiens de prison et les policiers. C'est tout. Puis là, il s'arrête complètement. Il fait plus rien. Il va mettre la laïcité là, dans sa constitution, mais comme un hochet, sans impact sur les signes religieux, en tout cas.
So saying there that Alexandre Cloutier would adopt Bouchard-Taylor and sounding, as you heard, exasperated, that's it. He says he won't do anything else. He says that it will have no impact on religious symbols, his plan to put secularism in the Constitution. Jean-François Lisée has himself called for a larger discussion with government employees about wearing religious symbols, possibly going as far as educators. He's also called for a debate to ban the niqab and the burqa in public places. He even went so far as to say that if ISIS were looking for a good place to put bombs, hiding them underneath a burqa would be one. How is all of this going down amongst Montreal Muslims? Samer Majzoub is the president of the Canadian Muslim Forum. He's on the phone with us. And Abdullah El Safadi lives in Pierrefonds, currently studying at Concordia in Community, Public Affairs and Policy Studies. He's live in the Daybreak studio. Gentlemen, good morning to you both.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Samer, what do you make of it all?
It is unfortunate that we see this kind of rhetoric that is based on so-called identity policies that really comes up whenever there is any sort of election or campaigns of leadership. And what we notice on this perspective is that the fact that the Islamophobic rhetoric comes so strong back, and it becomes the center of discussion. Instead of having really policies really that concerns the Quebecers or the political supporters of the PQ, for example, to be really presented and discussed and debated, we go and see those same politicians that we have tried before, and they have tried before, such kind of policies that are maybe considered appealing to xenophobia.
But you see it squarely as Islamophobia? Why?
Because this is what we have seen before. We have to put in mind that the same politicians, not all of them besides Mr. Cloutier, have really run the same kind of election campaign, whether on a provincial level or within the PQ itself or within what was so-called at that time Charles de Valeur a couple of years ago, 2-3 years ago. The same issues coming back and back, really trying to address and target a community in Quebec that are so much Quebecers, so much French speakers, because of what they may be dressing up. Although this is, we all agree, and it has been talked again and again and again, there's very few people to suddenly become to a center of all media attention and of all political talk. It is very, very unhealthy by all means.
Abdullah, how do you see it?
I actually totally agree with Samer Majzoub concerning that the issue about the political leaders that continue speaking about the immigration identity, about the commission of the Bouchard-Taylor, Charte des Valeurs, all these stuff. They're just going back and forth to the same ideas that we were talking about and we thought that we were done with, but we're actually not done with.
Well, why do you think it's happening? Why do you think the Muslim community has, in a way, become the center of the PQ leadership debates, at least over the last 4 days?
Well, it's obvious because what's happening in the world, it's also centered upon the Muslim community. We're in a time where the Muslim community is always the one that is pointed with their hand. We're the ones that people look at us and we're the ones that people want to talk about. If we look in the past, it was mostly about Italians, about Greeks. Every time has different people that the news or even the politicians like to talk about.
I wonder, Samer Majzoub, if you think that Adil Shakawi was right to get involved, because in a sense, his post was the catalyst for what we have seen this weekend.
Let's be honest about this. First of all, it is a freedom of any person to express his or her opinion, whether from this person or that person. But just to capitalize on a post and consider the center of discussion and even of debate, it is so much an exaggeration of the situation, as if this person or that person would really make a big difference in the election campaign. Again and again, those politicians, we have experienced them for many years and for many times. They try to take the advantage of anything just to change and shift the position of the discussion. And sometimes we wonder within the Muslim community what is going on, why it is always bashing of Islam and Muslims. We consider, those politicians are supposed to have really substantial issues in their political platform to be appealing to their constituencies and to their political supporters, besides creating this kind of tension and friction inside Quebec society. We all have experienced this during the Charte des Valeurs discussion and debate, and they failed on this. And here again, we raise it again and again, using Muslim community as a football for political objectives.
It's interesting because the Parti Québécois, if you're going back many years now, they were amongst the instigators of inviting more immigration from the Maghreb because they thought that would be a good thing for Quebec because many from the Maghreb are French speakers. And yet, how does the community, I'll start with you, Samer, how is the community feeling about the Parti Québécois now?
There is a big frustration and big disappointment, and they were hoping that one day this will be on this side. And what is really astonishing is we try to import political and problem issues from overseas, especially from France to Quebec, and try to apply here in Quebec politics. And it has proven that it doesn't work at the end. At the end, when the decision maker is out, when the population has the right to express their votes, they will not vote for this. We have tried it. We have tried it in a provincial level. We have tried it with the Conservative Party at the federal level. But unfortunately, it seems that, and this is what is really worrisome nowadays, we always believe that it is a political objective. But nowadays, we have this feeling, is really their hatred against Muslims, or it is just a matter of political objective. And this is very scary for a Quebecer who was born in Quebec, speaks French very fluently, to feel so much targeted by his or her representatives at the political level to that extent.
Abdullah, how are you feeling about the Parti Québécois?
The same way that Samer is feeling. For example, when he mentioned about the problems that are happening in France, they're bringing that problem that is happening there to the other side of the planet. For example, the Burkini issue. For example, not only the Parti Québécois, but also this the CAQ talked about the Burkini. It's an issue that we never, like, a lot of people did not know about. But as soon as they brought it in Quebec, it's like an issue, but it's not actually an issue. people don't care about this, well, I think that they don't care, but they want people to care about that, but they should not.
Are you reassured at all, Abdullah, by Alexandre Cloutier's position? He's the front runner. And, as Jean-François Lisée says, he does seem to be taking a much softer approach.
Well, he's taking a much softer approach. Yes, he's going back to the Bouchard-Taylor Commission compared to what Lisée is saying, that he wants to ban everyone, whether it's a teacher, anyone that has any head covering, any religious symbols. Concerning Cloutier about the Bouchard-Taylor, he just wants about judges. If I had to choose one or the other one, I would choose Cloutier. He has a softer, but he's more open. But this is debatable.
Just as a last question, in terms of which party on the political scene, I mean, you have the Liberal Party of Canada, very popular right now. How much support, how much sympathy do you have for the nationalist cause at this moment?
It's very difficult to answer this question. The Parti Québécois, I don't know what to say about them. They're just trying to find a problem. For example, now, about Cloutier. Yes, he has more support from other people. According to the polls, he's higher than the other ones. So people are trying to bash him. So they're trying to go against him so people can actually vote against him, and he should not win.
Abdullah Al-Safadi lives in Pierrefonds, studying at Concordia Community Public Affairs and Policy Studies, and Samer Majzoub, president of the Canadian Muslim Forum. Thank you both.
No problem.
And any thoughts, it's 514-566-9066.